Hey guys, it's Becky with Design Bundles, and I'm here today to talk to you about using the Warp tool. Now, the Warp tool is really useful anytime you're working with a curved design. In particular, today we're going to be talking about tumblers. So make sure to stay tuned. Go ahead and have a design in mind. We're going to show you our favorite design, and we're going to get to work setting up the Warp tool in Silhouette Studio.
So first, let's hit pause on our project because it's important to tell you that the feature we're using, the conical warp, is a feature of an upgraded version of Silhouette Studio. You need to either upgrade to the Designer Edition Plus or the Business Edition. Now, we do invite you to watch the video and see what you think of it, but this is often a feature that is worth upgrading for if you use a lot of curved surfaces, especially tumblers and drinkware. Alright guys, so the first thing I did was I came over to Design Bundles and I searched for a cheetah print SVG. Now there's a couple to choose from. The only thing that I want to say is to make sure that you are choosing an actual SVG and not a pattern that is going to be a printable. So for example, this one here actually says it's leopard print, leopard, cheetah, it's kind of all the same to me. So with your pattern chosen, you can scroll down, and what we were talking about with making sure that it's a cut file, this is where you're going to look. Usually it'll tell you what type of files are included, and we're looking to make sure that it has either an SVG or a DXF file. And we can go ahead and add to cart and proceed to purchase. So here in Silhouette Studio, I have opened the file. I did open the SVG format. Okay, and this is a square. So what I'm going to do, because your design needs to be longer to fit around the entire tumbler, I'm going to go ahead and make a duplicate. So I can come to my replicate panel, hit my duplicate, and it is a seamless pattern. So that was one of the things I was looking for, although it's not mandatory, but it's seamless, but I still am going to need to weld these pieces together. So I bumped it over a little, and I can right click and choose weld, and that will form them together. After they're welded, they do split up into individual pieces, so just make sure that you regroup those. Okay, now when it comes to using the actual warp panel, I'm going to use this arrow here because my icons are large enough that I need the little side here. I'm going to choose the warp panel, and I'm going to use the conical warp here. That's our third icon. And I can just enter the dimensions of the tumbler. I'm going to hit conical warp selected shapes. And I took these measurements before we started the video. I just used the tumbler exactly. And my measurements are 3.5 by 2.375 by 6.25. Now we are not including any text, but if we were including text, you would enter those measurements here. And I can just hit apply, and Silhouette Studio will take care of the rest for me. Now, once the Warp tool and Silhouette Studio have finished doing their thing, it does separate it into the little pieces. So we're just going to group those together to make sure that none of them get lost. And don't be alarmed if that Warp tool took a really long time, because ours certainly did, and it seems to vary based on the complexity of the design that you're using, but overall, it does take a little bit of time. So I am using a cup that has a logo. So I did not want to do it before I did the Warp tool because placement is really important for this one, but I am going to go ahead and create a circle. This one, in fact, needs to be 2¼ inches. So I'm going to use my scale panel, make sure I lock that aspect ratio, 2¼ Okay, I'm going to, we'll go ahead and fill this with white just so that you guys can see it best. And I'm going to use my align tool. Again, it's on the transform panel, and I will center them and I will vertically align to the top. Now I do that because there's one more tool that we're going to use. Let's get rid of this warp panel. We are done with that. We are going to use the move tool. And I want to move this 2 inches down. There we go. So that should put it right in place for where I need it to be. So once it's positioned, I'm going to select these two here, and I will simply use my subtract tool to subtract the circle from our cheetah print design. Once that's finished, it is going to separate these again into the tiny pieces. So we will simply regroup them together, and then we will proceed to cut this with our vinyl.
Okay, so I have cut and weeded this gorgeous holographic vinyl, right? Let's go over some other tools. We definitely need scissors. We need some sort of tape. I'm using painter's tape, and we need transfer tape. And of course, we'll need the tumbler that we're working with. Here's the tumbler I chose, and I think it goes well with my vinyl. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to trim off a piece of transfer tape. Now don't think too hard about this. We will be trimming this transfer tape again, and that will make more sense when we get there. But for now, I just want to peel this from the backing, but do not discard the backing. We will be using it again. Make sure that your entire vinyl design is covered. Then you will want to squeegee it into place. With your design weeded and transferred to the transfer tape, we're going to place it back on the backing. Make sure you're doing it on the right side. There is a glossy side and a paper side to your transfer tape. So this side that has the printing is the paper side, and your vinyl will stick to that. Now I'm going to trim as close to this design as I can stand it without cutting my vinyl. Now the reason we're doing this is that this is going to help us when we place it on our tumbler. Alright, so move your scraps away. And now here comes the fun part. The reason that I love this transfer tape, and one thing to look for when you're choosing a transfer tape, is that I can see the design. Here, let's take the lid off, make it a little bit easier. But I can see the design, so that circle part that I mentioned, I can line it up this way, and I can also make sure that the rest of the design is going to line up. Now when I have it positioned where I want it, that's where this tape is going to come into play. I am actually going to, let me check my design one more time. I'm going to tape it on the bottom, and then I'll tape it again at the top. And don't let your scissors go far, you'll need those again in a moment too. Now we can simply peel back our backing and trim off a piece. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to wrap our design around and secure the vinyl on the tumbler. Okay, so now we can come and we can undo this tape. The tape was just to secure it while we trimmed that off. And when we peel this back, we can remove the rest of it at the same time that we're smoothing this around so that it lines up with the rest of our tumbler. And now I can remove the tape. All right, give it a good rub down. Make sure that that vinyl is on there. And then choose a corner and start removing your transfer tape. Just make sure that none of your pieces come off. And there we go. That is our gorgeous new tumbler. I can replace the lid. And there we go. Now you'll notice that it does cover up some part here, but I think that's okay. Here's an up close look. It fits right around our design in the middle, and we're good to go. So how do you feel about the warp tool? It is very, very useful, and with just a little minor upgrade, you can also be using the warp tool on your own. So hopefully this explained what the warp tool was, and what you would use it for, and you'll be ready to use it for your own crafts in no time. Thanks for watching today. I really appreciate it, guys. Of course, make sure you leave your questions and comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can bring you more videos right around the corner.